This is Corolla Digital.
Hello, my little animal crackers. It's me, Allison. Before the show officially starts, a few words. Gary, I think we have an iTunes comment of the week.
Allison wants your iTunes comments. Allison wants them, yes she does. Please leave her some iTunes comments and don't forget to click 5 stars.
All right, so this week our iTunes comment of the week comes from Melissa Cabrera, and it's titled, "Wow, love it. I'm so thankful for this show. I've been listening for the past few weeks and I'm hooked. Allison is smart, funny, and down to earth. The episode with Sarah Schaefer was really helpful because I'm going through the same thing with my husband. It gave me hope, and it's not too late, and maybe it's time for us to go our separate ways."
Melissa, thank you for your comment. I don't normally do this, but I actually took a screen grab of that comment and sent it to Sarah just to say, look, we helped someone, and she was really moved by that too. And that means so much when people come on the podcast, or when I do, just talk about something really personal and you feel like, God, I don't know if I should have talked about that. I feel vulnerable, etc. now. But then to find out that your words meant something to someone makes it all worth it. So thank you, and thank everyone who has left comments. And thank you to people who haven't even left comments. Just thank you for listening. I love you guys. But if you want to leave a comment that potentially could be an iTunes comment of the week, go to iTunes, leave a comment, click 5 stars, because we deserve it. God damn it. And that would be fantastic. Another announcement. I will be doing my podcast live October 12th, which is a Friday, at the LA Podcast Festival. And the guests, I have been debating whether to tell you who the guests are or to just make it a surprise. But I'm going to tell you one of them. It's Greg Proops. I'm going to tell you 2 of them. Doug Benson. And then also I'm working on a surprise musical guest. I don't know if it's going to happen or not yet, but it will be fantastic. Also, I want to tell you guys about Stamps.com. As I said, I just moved. Oh, actually, I should point out, on the episode you're about to hear, I talk about how I'm in the process of moving, but that's already happened. I've moved. I'm in the new place. And Daniel and I were walking around the new neighborhood, and he pointed at our post office, and I said, I'm just going to forget that. I'm going to promptly memorize it and then forget it, because I'm never going to go to the post office because I have no need to go there and to wait and to deal with all the inconvenience of the post office, because I have Stamps.com, which means that I can just print out official U.S. postage on my computer and my printer at home. And because of the free scale, the digital scale, I never have to spend more than is necessary on postage because I know exactly how much to put on. It's so convenient, and it really is it's the way everything should be done. On demand, right from your home, no extra time, no extra money, because time is money, and you're worth it. And for my listeners, that's you guys, you can get a special deal. It's a no-risk trial. It's a $110 bonus offer. It includes the digital scale and up to $55 free of postage. $55 free of postage. So don't wait. Go to Stamps.com. Before you do anything else, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage and type in Allison. That's Stamps.com. Enter Allison. Also, I want to tell you guys about GoToMeeting. I love them. I love Michael from Citrix, and I love this product. Let's say you could be anywhere. You could be in a hammock. You could be in Jamaica. You could just be in your living room. You could be at a coffee house. Regardless, you're somewhere where you don't want to leave, and you get an email saying that you need to have a meeting with your coworkers. You don't want to schlep your buns to the office, do you? No. You want to just be able to meet from the convenience of wherever you are, and thanks to GoToMeeting, you can. It is a way to have a meeting online. There's video, it's HD, there's sound, it's super crisp. It is ideal. And Gary and I have used it, and we love it. And you can even meet with people from your iPad. You just download the app from Citrix. You need this, Gary.
Yeah, it's absolutely excellent. It's very easy to use. You can join it from your iPad, and that's a really slick app. It works very, very well. and it looks great. And it's really cool because it's got a lot of neat features like private chat and stuff. So if you're in a big group meeting and you need to just tell your one colleague something specific to get them in on the conversation, you can do stuff like that. So it's really solid, and it's built for business. It does not break down like some of the other ones do.
And you can collaborate on documents while you're talking. So it's like having everything that you would need to do a presentation, but you can do it from your computer or your iPad. And as I'll say it again, if you do go to meeting with your colleagues and then afterwards, if you return to just regular email, you might feel lonely. You're like, I want to be able to see them. I didn't expect to feel that way, but I did. Turns out I actually like people. Start hosting your own face-to-face online meetings today with GoToMeeting. My listeners can try it free for 45 days. 45 days! Don't wait for this special offer. Visit GoToMeeting.com, click on the Try It Free button, and use the promo code Allison. Be sure to use the promo code Allison. Alrighty. On this episode, the guest is Elizabeth Laime. She is a ton of fun, and I think, and we actually talked about, well, I don't want to step. Well, no, we talked about some pretty moving stuff and some silly stuff, per the usual. So please love this episode. I love you guys, and I will talk to you next week.
Alison Rosen. Alison Rosen is your new best friend. Alison, with her good times never end. Alison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Allison's your new best friend.
Hey everyone, hi, hello, it's me, Alison Rosen. Welcome to another episode of Alison Rosen is Your New Best Friend. My guest today is Elizabeth Laime of the Totally Laime podcast. Hello.
Hi.
I was on her podcast, and now she's on my podcast, and I do have to say something about the fact that I feel like I'm a little sluggish right now because I am days away from moving, and for some reason that is just taking all my energy and all my spirit and also crushing my soul. So even though I sound peppy right now, it's completely phony.
Yeah, it's okay.
We
will dwell in the darkness.
Yes, I'm going to feel the fear and do it anyway. That's a book title, I think.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm. So what they don't know about you is that you're actually married to someone named Andy Rosen.
Yes.
And you could and should call your podcast Totally Rosen, but instead you're denying the Rosenness of you. What's going on?
It's like on my wedding night when I got really drunk, and in a good way, a fun time drunk, and I ended up at one point screaming with this terror of realization, I'm a Jew!
I've had that realization. I've had that happen.
We all have, I guess, when it happens to us. But now that I am one, I guess, I don't know, I cling to the past a little bit. But then I definitely embrace the Jew part when it's applicable.
So what you're saying is instead of you just chose Totally Laime because it's funny and as like a play on words and makes sense, what you're really saying is you chose Totally Laime because you didn't want to be considered Jewish?
Correct. No.
Okay, good.
No, the truth is that I keep my last name for work stuff because it's a good icebreaker, I guess. And I also want all the assholes in high school to know that I have done something with myself.
Oh, right, because if they saw Totally Rosen, they might think it's me.
Right.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't know.
They wouldn't know it's you.
Yeah.
What was high school like for you?
I say every start so far is like not really. They're half truths. High school was actually great. There weren't really that many assholes. I was friendly with everyone. I was the girl who got B's, and I was on cheerleading. I was a captain.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't like the most popular girl. I was like the captain because I was the base of the pyramid and was very supportive and like.
Do you mean like emotionally you were the base as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so, Allison. I kind of was the girl who was like friends with everyone, but I wasn't part of the popular kids. But I was still invited to those parties.
You were now. See, at my school, captain the cheerleading squad would mean that you were popular.
I was popular in the sense that I was, I think, liked by a lot of people, and I liked everyone. But how do I explain me? I was kind of like, I was a B student, B person, very spirited, and well liked, but I was never like the most popular or most beautiful, or I had the most amazing boyfriend or anything like that. But I was like fine, you know.
So high school was not traumatic for you.
Yeah, it was pretty benign, honestly.
Right. When did the trauma happen, or did it never?
Oh, it happened.
Okay.
Big time. I love. Is there always trauma with
People who perform?
Yeah.
Yes. I think there is. Although
interesting.
I feel like if you were to pull over, not in a car, just sort of just grab anyone in the world and ask them about that, there's some trauma, don't you think?
Yeah, that's fair. Although my husband really hasn't had everything's relative. And like last week, my cat died.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. And for 2 days, I was like, it was the depths of despair.
Yeah.
And so it made me realize everything's relative, because my huge trauma is that when I was 19, my mom died, and then 10 months later, my dad died.
That is a big two-part trauma.
Yeah, it was I was going to say a double team, but that's not appropriate. It was
You got double teamed
1-2 punch.
by death.
I
Yeah.
got double teamed by, death.
Yeah.
And so when the cat died last week, it made me realize, like, for 2 days, I felt the same way after my parents died, even though the healing time was much faster. But, and like, my husband has never had someone really close to him die, unless it was like a grandparent of old age.
Right.
He had a really pleasant upbringing. I mean, he's struggled like everyone, but there are certain things from his childhood that seem more traumatic, like maybe his parents fighting was really traumatic, whereas my parents fighting, now I'm like, oh, whatever, they fought, all parents fight. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's all relative. Mm-hmm. We're all, can we swear?
Oh, well, fuck yes.
We're all fucked.
Well, do you think...
Gary just did like a cute little thumbs up nod.
Well, we are. Gary
We are.
especially.
Yeah, definitely. Me.
Super fucked. I can't decide whether I want that to be F-U-C-K-E-D or F-U-C-T.
Definitely.
Gary's shaking his head. Oh my God. I totally don't want that. I don't want it to be skateboard or fucked.
No.
Okay.
I like the F-U-C-T because I've never heard of it.
Maybe F-U-K-T? F-U-K-D? I feel like sometimes
Fuked.
people... Yeah.
We're all fuked.
We so are.
You just
Well,
do
now-
like punked. F-U-C-K '.
Oh, yeah. That's good. We're fucked. I feel like Ashton Kutcher is going to walk in here in a minute naked.
I sat next to him the other night.
Where?
Kuchar. At Soho House.
Oh, fancy. I've never been to this fancy place. I don't have any pictures from a photo booth at Soho House with Diablo Cody, which everyone has.
Yeah, it's weird how she just sits there waiting for every single person.
Is it the real her? Or is it a mannequin?
They probably hire someone.
Yeah. What were you doing at Soho House? Can you not say? Is it?
Oh, yeah, no, I
okay.
can say. I was just having dinner with some friends.
Okay. But they must be fancy friends.
Yeah, they're pretty fancy. They're pretty fancy.
Famous.
I don't know. You probably know them. And I don't
Like,
want to
divulge.
I feel weird saying who it is because A, it's not that big of a deal, and B, I don't know if they want to be like known as
that you
being
don't-
that fancy.
Being friends with you, you don't know if they want people to know that they know you.
More importantly.
All right. Well, so what is the Soho House like? Is it like everything I hear?
See, Andy and I have spent a lot of time there recently because of my friend's a member, and we've, for his business, have had a couple meetings there. Mm-hmm. And I've been like talking about it. And I grew up in St. Louis. Like, we belong to a country club, and I don't know. I think that even though, as much as I hate it, there's a part of me who longs to belong to a club
Yeah.
of some sort. And my husband is the opposite of that. Like, he poo-poos any pretension and whatever. I don't think I'm pretentious, but the Soho House is really fucking nice, and it's cool nice. It's like Anthropologie made a really cool, like, cozy, loungy restaurant with the most amazing views of LA, and then there's an eating area that's called the Garden, which is really beautiful, and it's made to feel unpretentious but still very nice. But then the people who are there, you're like, oh, it is really pretentious. But I like it because I can imagine like riding there, and I don't know, I really love it. And I told Andy I really want to join someday, and he like, that will be a fight that we have. And I'm like, don't kill this for me. Like,
This dream of
it's
belonging.
one thing I have to look forward to out of no other things.
Right, no, your life is fairly hopeless.
The Soho House membership is the only thing I have to look forward
You're
to.
hanging on to it, I know. Well, wait, what does it take to be a member there?
It's not even that much. What do you think it would take?
I think 10,000 and 30,000. I don't know what.
It's $2,000 a year.
That's it.
Plus-
I mean, that's a lot, but I thought in New York,
It's like
I think
a
it's
gym
more.
membership.
I
It
think
might
it's like
be more.
10,000 in New York.
Maybe.
Yeah. Wow. And do you have to be sponsored or something?
Yeah, you have
Like-
to have 2 members. But listen, Allison, if you wanted in, I could get you in.
Really?
I'd be really jealous of you. You'd have to take me there. But yes.
Oh, you mean because you're not going to be able to get in because of your husband?
No, just we're not burdened with disposable income right now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not either, actually, but someday I hope to be.
Yes, me too.
Right.
God.
And then do they vote you in or not? Or it's just 2 people nominate you, you show up with the cash, and it's done?
I think I think it has to be in some sort of
Briefcase
briefcase.
that you set down, and then someone comes along, picks up the wrong one, and it's filled with men's underwear?
Well, the men's underwear will only get you so far.
Right.
You better hope. Yes. Yeah, that's exactly how it goes down. So there's hope for us yet.
I know. Gary, have you been there?
No, not to the one in LA.
But you've been to the one in New York. I
Oh,
know.
Gary.
You've been to the one in New York.
Yes.
How did you get in there?
I have a friend who became a junior member by lying about what he does. So I have a friend who's a member. They only accept creative types, and this guy's just super pretentious, like you were talking about, and just is all about flashing his money. So he lied about what he does and got a membership there as a junior member.
What's a
But
junior member?
You're right. It's way more expensive in New York. Like a regular membership is north of 10,000, and the junior membership was like 5.
Oy vey.
I know.
Junior membership is for people like under 26 or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Oh, it's an age thing.
Yeah, it's an age thing, and it's cheaper. But then
By the way, fook you if you are under 25
Exactly.
and
Right.
joining. So leave that for,
Look, what kind of creative types have that money?
well, a lot. And also, like, we went there for a meeting with like Universal record label, like record label people and stuff like that. It's a real businessy. And while we were having dinner in Ashton, if you know him like I do, came in. This guy, this is going to be no fun. I don't even know his name. This actor that my friend was like, holy shit, even though she's an actress and she's not like that. But I guess it's like a crush that she has sat on the other side of us. So we were flanked.
Right by Ashton and that guy
Yeah.
who is famous. Now, have you ever been to Disneyland's Club 33?
Oh my God, Allison.
I haven't, but Gary has.
Gary!
Are you allowed to talk about it? Or will someone
it's not
who
a-
looks like
it's not a
Mickey
secret.
rub you out?
Gary, okay, first of all, can I just say, we were at Disneyland yesterday with my
Wow,
sister.
that's why you look so happy.
With my sister and her husband, and my husband, or her, oh my God, her husband, they were going on and on about Club 33. They showed it to us because they really like club type things.
Oh, they're those people that Andy isn't.
Yes, exactly. Even though everyone loves each other, but they live in Newport Beach, which, you know, because you're from Orange County.
That's where we're from, Gary
Oh,
and
you
I.
both are?
Yeah, and roughly.
So you get it.
Yeah.
And someone at his law firm had a membership that was like passed down through generations. And then they got to the point where everyone in the law firm was using it. And Club 33 got wind of this and shut it down.
No!
But we were like, and my sister's like, the food's okay. I mean, it's okay. It's just cool, to go. And we're like, but why? So Gary, tell us. And tell everyone, because listeners might not know what.
Oh, yeah, maybe they don't.
I had never heard of it.
Well, I've always heard of it as a secret club at Disneyland, which that's enough for me. And also, I know that it says 33. It's like hidden somewhere. Like I have a whole. So growing up in Orange County, you go to Disneyland a lot.
Right.
I have a childhood of walking by it and knowing where it is, but never gaining entree. Except that I think Gary might be able to hook me up, unless they're doing some kind of crackdown because of the law firm shenanigans.
Wait, Gary, are you a member?
I have access to a membership. I am not a member. I'm under 30 and therefore would be an asshole to be a member.
Indeed.
How do you even get to be a real member of that club?
It's changed a lot in the last 2 months, but she's right. For a long
What
time,
mouse do you have to fuck?
For a long time, there was a certain number of memberships that were just passed down amongst companies or whatever. And the reason that it was cool was because it included free park hoppers. So you would make a reservation for 4, and you would get basically $400 worth of tickets. And then you go in, and you had to spend a minimum, but it was less than the ticket price. So you got a mediocre meal and paid what you would have paid to go to Disneyland anyways. And you can have a bottle of wine with dinner and stuff. They serve alcohol. So it's it was more, for a long time, it was more just a more cost-effective and neat way to go to Disneyland, especially with people from out of town, because you go up to this door and push this buzzer.
Yeah, and also, walking out that door and feeling superior to all the people in the Peter Pan line, because that's where it is. Walking out and just, gosh,
Wait,
you feel
it is?
great about yourself.
It's by
behind-
Peter Pan?
it's
I thought it was
behind-
by the Haunted Mansion.
It's behind Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, my mistake.
You really don't
I was
belong.
there yesterday. You guys, it
You're
got
confusing-
a little crazy at Disneyland.
Confusing Fantasyland with Adventureland?
Tomorrowland?
No. What land is Peter Pan ride in? I think
I
it's
thought it was in
Adventureland.
Fantasyland.
I mean, not Peter Pan.
Guys,
Pirates
maybe
of
we're both right.
Caribbean.
It's
I think
It's
we might be
Adventureland.
both right. I think because they might be next to each other.
I think they do butt up against each other.
Yeah. Well, the green door, I think, for 33 is right there. And oh, how I wished
I know.
to walk in
It's
and walk
like
out.
it's like if you've ever flown first class, which I have twice in my life. Then the next flight in coach is oh, take me back
it's in
to
New Orleans
where.
Square.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
It's but you probably know. I was just saying that if you've ever flown first class, then the next flight back to coach, it's oh, I don't want to be one of you regular people. I want to be special. I want the big fat seat with the line and the real
Yeah.
silverware.
Try being 11 inches taller.
Yeah, try that, Allison.
Really
I can't,
sucks.
but I imagine that.
It really sucks
I
going
bet,
back to
yeah.
I literally... Okay.
For anyone who doesn't know, Gary is 11 inches tall. Everything's
that's
first
funny.
class for him.
Everything. I have horrible... actually, though, I read a book in my last flight back from New York. I think I overcame it. But horrible flying anxiety. Panic attacks. And I don't have it in first class. I hate to say, I think I'm a bona fide kind of snob, even though I really don't want to be one. But just based on that fact, I have a physical fear reaction.
Maybe it's claustrophobia, sort of.
Possibly, but it's definitely flying. It's definitely about the plane.
I'm trying to
the
find
things
some
that can go-
non-snobby way to look at this, but you're right. Maybe you are a snob.
But I think I just enjoy
The finer things.
the finer things.
I certainly do. There are people who.
That's why we're best friends.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm a little upset that whoever comes on this podcast next will be your new best friend.
But you're the real one.
Okay.
And if I ever say that to someone else, I'm lying to them, okay?
Good to
It's
know.
It's real when it comes
Okay.
to you. There are people who will say things like, I don't see the point of spending money on a nice hotel room because it's I'm not even going to be in the room in whatever city they're in. And I admire that kind of, they're a backpacking person who's kayaked in their life and they know how to carry stuff in rolls on their back in a canteen and all of that makes sense to them. But I am someone who, part of the vacation for me, if I'm on a vacation, is being in a hotel.
Yes.
Or maybe, I don't know, I just remember at a certain point, because I used to go to South by Southwest. You guys, so your husband, Andy Rosen, no relation to me, is a music producer.
Yes.
Do you guys go to South by Southwest?
No.
Okay. Well, you know of it, though, right? That
Yes.
big, music conference, which is now more about internet, I think. But anyway, I used to always go because I wrote about music. And at a certain point, I realized the idea of staying in a room with like 6 other people, I can't do it. I have to just get my own hotel room.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think that's also getting older. Like,
I think so.
backpacked and I stayed in, like, hostels with complete strangers. And,
Did you like that, though?
oh, my God. I did 2 months, and the entire time, and I was by myself, all I thought was, I cannot wait to do this with money.
Yeah. Was that in Europe or?
Europe.
Okay.
But, yeah, for me, I love nice hotels. I love it. I will go to a nice hotel and just, like, actually, my sister and I did that after my parents passed away. Like the next Christmas, we got a room at the Ritz, and for 3 days stayed in the hotel room. And it was so nice, like room service and movies and the beds and all of it. And the sex was great.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
1 bed or 2?
2 beds.
Okay.
Gotta have your own bed.
Yeah, my sister and I went on a romantic weekend. Accidentally, though. I was writing for a magazine. I was writing for Time Out New York, and it was the vacation issue or something. And we were all going on road trips. And at so my sister and I were driving to Connecticut, and we were going to Mystic, Connecticut. And like at the last minute, I decided let's stay at this inn here instead of this place here. And it was like this totally romantic couplesy inn, which it was so wasted on us. And it was like this big king bed. And I just remember like we weren't getting along really. But I mean, it was like really stupid stuff.
Right.
But we had rented, everyone had rented different cars. It was like a car plus vacation trip. And like I wanted the top down. And, by the time we got there, she looked like the Unabomber because she had like her hood and just a tiny bit of her face showing and sunglasses. And she was not having any of it. But she was just like, stay on your side of the bed. So
She sounds
we didn't
like
hook
a
up.
gem.
Yeah. She's
didn't hook
actually
up.
delightful.
I'm just kidding.
I don't think that came across, her delightfulness in the story. She's not always delightful, though. Is your sister older or younger?
3 years older.
Oh, wait. We probably went through this on your podcast,
like
but I
we
now
maybe
have
did.
amnesia or something.
Yeah.
Because my sister is 3 years and 9 months younger than I am.
Oh, interesting.
And is your sister, so she's married. Okay, because, my sister is married, and my sister is sort of, at this point, more advanced in life than I am, I'd say. People think I'm the younger one.
In what respect? How is she?
She just seems more serious, and she's actually not. Like, she's very funny. She's a lawyer.
Oh,
and
well, that's
she's
why.
married. I'm not married, and she's, she'll have kids before I do.
Those
and
are the things, right?
Yes, they are.
Well, that's just like society's version of
Yes.
what. It's interesting.
That's what I mean.
Andy and I, my husband and I were talking about this. Like, we have a close family friend who is just a total drifter, and we were saying someone we know who's younger is probably going to end up like this person who's like 40 and he surfs and he kind of drifts around and does whatever comes his way, but he's also kind of lost. But he's maybe happy. I don't really think he is, but whatever. It's not my journey. But I was saying like, oh, this other person we know, I think he's going to end up like him. And Andy was like, yeah, I bet a lot of people think that we're like that. Like, a lot of people think that what we do in entertainment or podcasting, I mean...
Right, is dilettantism, kind of.
Yeah. Which, so, whatever. But especially coming from St. Louis, like, people don't understand. When I go back to St. Louis, I think people just think me and Andy are like that. We're just, like, drifters. Like,
Because
we're
you don't
gypsies.
have kids yet?
Because I don't have, like, a 9-to-5 job, nor does Andy.
You still have longish hair?
I still have longish
feel like
hair.
you have to cut your hair when you
I
grow
haven't
up.
had 3 children. I don't have like a 2-story colonial and a BMW. I don't have a membership to the Soho House. No.
Or a cat.
Or a
Sorry,
cat anymore.
that was awful.
I
I'm
have a
sorry.
dog. No.
Oh, yeah, okay.
The
Phew.
dog. Yeah, phew. No, yeah. Sad about the cat. But point being, they don't even know what to ask me. And okay, here's something interesting. So you guys know who Ellie Kemper is?
Yes.
She's on The Office.
And
So-
she was in Bridesmaids, right?
Yes.
And John Hamm was her instructor, I think. I read that.
Yes. So she and I grew up in the same, like, social world in St. Louis.
Is she your Soho House friend?
No.
Okay.
And she and I both went into comedy, and Ellie is super smart, crazy funny, talented, hardworking, all of it. And I am pursuing writing, and she got a couple great breaks that she totally deserved. Very kind of, not early-ish, she worked for them, but people in St. Louis have latched onto that because it's something they can understand because they see her on TV and they know, like, oh, she's very successful. And it's almost like there's no correlation that we came up literally in the same theater in New York. We were on the same paths, and her path went one way. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I just, like, after college went out to sea and am floating around. They don't even know what to ask me. So it's a bit of a bummer, but point being, when you say your sister seems like older or like further along in life or whatever it is, that's just a perception thing.
Yes, exactly. And yeah. But weirdly, she has more gray hairs than I do.
Or not weirdly.
I know. No, I think it is weirdly. I don't know. I mean, we actually look a lot alike, but then in some ways we're very different. Like, she would die if she knew I was saying this. But when it comes to the chest, she was a little more blessed in that area than I am. And it's weird that we have different body types.
Yeah, my sister and I have pretty different body types.
Okay, maybe it's not that weird then.
She has 2 kids, and she's like never been in better shape. She's super tiny, doesn't have much in the chest area, and I don't know where I got mine because my mom had some boobs, but I found out after she died that she had breast implants.
You didn't know that?
Didn't know.
Oh wow! How'd you find out?
My sister and I were hanging out, and I was looking at a magazine, and I said to her, "How do you feel about plastic surgery?" And she's like, "I don't know. You know, maybe I'll want it someday. I don't know. I don't like judge it. I mean, obviously, look at Mom." And I was like, "What do you mean, look at Mom?"
Yeah.
Makes sense, though, because she was very sick and lost a lot of weight, but she always had those
Perky bosoms.
perky...
That's crazy. Did you? If I found out that my mom had something like breast implants and I didn't know, I would be like, oh my god, how did I not know that?
Oh yeah, it was a thing for me. Like,
it would be
this
a thing
was
for
like
me.
10 years ago, so I've come to terms with it. But I
But
think
we can still dredge it up here.
sure, please. I think it's weird because my mom and I were very close, like very very close. She was a Southern belle. Our biggest fights were that I wouldn't wear makeup. Mm-hmm. And I think I dug my heels in and I went the opposite direction. Like, I became a hippie. I wore, like, khaki and hemp and no makeup. And I went to extremes to not make myself look pretty because it was like, it's all about what's on the inside and all that stuff, which she hated, I'm sure. So it makes sense that she wouldn't have told me but would have told my sister, who...
Oh, you think that she was protecting herself from you
my
judging
judgment.
her?
Sure.
And is that accurate?
Yeah. I mean, now I wouldn't, but I think at the time I probably would have. But it is a bummer because I'm like, that's a big thing that I didn't know about. And that seems like a big...
Have you been able to figure out when it was? Like, was there a time that she was...
my sister and I have like tried to figure it out. Maybe when we were at camp.
Oh, yeah, that seems like a time for that.
I don't know.
I wonder how people who are in the public eye all of a sudden get work done and then show up looking different, and it's not a big... Like, I feel like a nose job or something, which I have to say, as someone who hates my nose but is afraid of surgery, I've always...
hate my nose.
But your nose is cute and
No,
perfect.
it's not.
But I think
See,
it
we can get
is.
into this. Mine was broken and my 2 front teeth were chipped off during a party when I was a youngster.
Sounds like a not very fun party.
No, this is gruesome.
Okay.
And I interrupted you too, and
No,
I want to
no.
hear.
Well, I
But
wanna hear
was
yours first.
Sleeping under a pool table at a slumber party, and someone knocked against the balls or something. A ball jumped the lip
Oh.
and landed squarely on my nose and mouth.
Oh, my God.
So my 2 front teeth are like half fake.
Uh-huh.
My nose got busted, and my parents didn't plastic surgery it. They just let it heal. So it is crooked. I have a horribly deviated septum.
Well, see, then you have all the excuses one needs.
I know, but I can't bring myself to do it.
I know. Well,
You're the same.
yeah, I can't because I'm afraid what if I end up with one of those noses afterwards. It's like one of those little tiny, like it looks totally wrong on your face. Awful things. That and the pain, and you have to wear a bandage for a really long time. That's what I'm saying. How do you sneak out for that long with your bandage on, and then you come back and you look different, and then what happens, you know?
I don't know. I feel like Zooey Deschanel recently did that.
Really?
Yeah.
What makes you say that?
Because my friend was like tweeting about it, like, really?
Oh.
But
I feel like everyone we see has had work done.
it's a bummer.
Mm-hmm.
I went to dinner with, I'm very active in like animal rescue stuff. And I went to dinner with a couple of my friends from that world. And one of them brought her friend, long story, but she's like super vegan. And she has this crazy body that she uses as like a billboard for veganism. During the dinner, we got pretty drunk, and she basically told us that she has tons of plastic surgery. Wow. Which she's like 30, and also it really rubbed me the wrong way, not because she got it, but because she's like kind of, I was so excited that she was this veganism billboard, and then I'm kind of like, oh, it's all smoke and mirrors.
Yeah. What did she have done?
Lipo, tucks, boob job, like the works.
Heidi Montag.
But it's not as like freakish as Heidi
Right.
Montag. I mean, she looks great, and I don't think you would know it unless she told us. But the way she was talking to us was like, trust me, go to my doctor, you're going to love him. Like, it's just assumed that we're all going to do something, or that we all need it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I went home and looked in the mirror, and thank God my husband is like, I make it sound like he forbids me from a lot of things, but it's just the two things. Mm-hmm. He forbids me from plastic surgery, especially my face. I think I could convince him if I really desperately wanted like a boob lift or something. Mm-hmm. But it made me realize, like, it's like athletes juicing. Like, I feel like us normal gals don't have a chance.
Yeah.
Because everyone is Botoxing and whatevering.
Right.
And it's like, I don't want to do that, but then I'm also like, is the standard becoming such that I'm not going to be, competing for what? It's not, but you know what I mean? Like,
right. It's expected now, it seems like. I don't know. Yeah, it seems like everyone does Botox. I never have, but a lot of my friends have had Botox.
Which is like, I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
I think of Botox like when you're 60.
No, yeah, I know. I think people in their 20s do it even.
Oh, God.
I don't know. I still,
See, this is why my mom didn't tell me about her boobs.
Actually, my sister was like, because through my whole life, there's always been this in the background, me talking about, you know, the nose job that one day I'll maybe get, but I'm probably not going to get. I'm aware of that, you know. But she was like, she's like pleading with, she's like, please don't do that. It'll freak me out if I look at you and you look different. And like, I totally get that.
Yeah.
I judge it actually unless it's like, it's corrective, you know, or unless it's necessary. But I guess I judge it because I feel like there's some sort of self-hating that must be happening to lead someone to mutilate themselves in that way. Even if in the same breath, I know that maybe I would like my face better if I had a nose job.
Yeah, I feel you totally. But as you're saying that, I'm like, no, you can't get a nose job.
Okay.
Because
I won't, but...
And this is not a bad thing, but, like, your nose plays an important role in, like, your face and who you are. And I feel like I can say the same thing about mine, that it's, like, my nose being a little crooked or whatever... it would be a bummer to me if you got a nose job, or now I'm thinking if I got one.
There is that fear that all of a sudden it'd be like the Jennifer Grey thing. Now, I don't know if she had more work done or not, but all of a sudden that like you wouldn't look like yourself. That's freaky.
And her nose is perfect. Like her new nose, I'm sure it is exactly what she hoped for. But then there's just like, it's like a part of her personality has been taken out or something. Having said that, I do have a friend who had like corrective jaw nose surgery, and she still really looks like herself. But it's like, do you want to risk that? I don't know.
Yeah, my understanding is that with good plastic surgery, you still do look like yourself, just a tiny bit better. Like the people where you're like, did they? I don't know. They just look better. Like that's supposed to be good plastic surgery versus the like, oh my God, you have no nose left. That's bad. But I remember I had a therapist who gradually began looking more taut, T-A-U-T. And she was like, oh, I love plastic surgery. And I thought, this suggests a different worldview than mine. Similarly, another therapist, and I've only had two, but another one was into astrology. And I thought, again, suggests a different worldview.
Oh.
But I'm okay with it.
Oh, yeah. See, well, we'll get to that. I agree. Oh, on the plastic surgery front, a therapist saying, I love plastic surgery is slightly worrisome.
Yeah. Well, it's like what she did with her, money, I guess.
I know.
It was
Well, that's
she was
another
like sort
thing.
of a hobby / obsession.
Not to get too fucking self-righteous, but like what you could do with that money. I mean, and it's stupid. There are lines you can cross. Like, yes, I might join the Soho House, and I could do a lot of good with that money. And I like buy makeup, and I buy nice clothes, and those are things. I have friends who literally forego all of life's
Pleasures
so that they can rescue more animals. And my hat off to them. But plastic surgery. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say, like your therapist getting more and more taut, it's almost like now there's this look that people are trying to achieve,
which
that
is super
shows
unnatural.
But what it is it's like a status thing. It shows that
yeah.
I've had. I find when I go see my sister in Newport Beach, I see a lot of this. Like,
There is that Real Housewives look. I think
Yeah.
it looks shitty though, but it's
Of
sort of
course.
expected. It's the straightened hair, and by the way, my hair is straightened, but it's not blonde. And yeah, it's the lips that look wrong and too big on the face, and it's and the breasts that are very perky in the juicy tracksuit, and or whatever.
Yeah.
It is a very specific look.
indeed,
Where am I allowed to ask? Where in Newport?
It's in Newport Beach, off of Dover.
Okay,
Like Dover Shores?
there is a Dover Shores.
I don't know. That's probably where it is. Mm-hmm. Near that little elementary school.
Gary, are you knowing where this is?
I know where it is. It's right over by Harbor, but I can't think of which elementary schools are over there. My nephew's in the other side of town. I don't know.
Well, not important.
Their
except
address
for-
is...
So, can I ask, how did your parents die?
Oh, yeah. My mom had pancreatic cancer, and then my dad... Oh, God, this is so heartbreaking. My dad had a heart attack. He really had a broken heart. Like, he...
How old were they?
53, both of them. My dad, they were in good health for the most part. And then, after my mom died, my dad, this will tell you how much he was in pain. He took me and my sister on my parents' honeymoon, like 8 months after she died. That was our family trip. He was like...
the same trip, you mean?
Same trip.
Oh, where'd you go?
This is another weird fuck. I've never talked about this, but it was Austria and Germany, which is a kind of weird place to go for a honeymoon. Maybe not now, but
Right, what year was that?
I guess so. They were born in 44. I don't know, in the 60s.
Oh.
But my mom's like first love was this Austrian guy named Gotthard, who it was like a joke in our house. Even it was like stuck with her so much. And I think at one point she thought she was getting engaged to him, and she flew out to visit him, and he broke up with her and broke her heart. And then after that, she met my dad, and they loved each other very much. But there is always this ghost of this, like, the one that got away or whatever. The one, and my dad would call him Goat Turd. But isn't that kind of weird? Like, I was talking to Andy about this the other day, that that they went there for
Right.
their honeymoon.
Well, what was your mom's relationship with the place?
I mean, it was only, as far as I know, through...
Had she been there with him?
Well, I think he was from Austria
Right.
or something. It's all a little like...
It is.
What?
Yeah.
That's one thing. Like, I would love to... And I would love... Like, she had pictures of him. Like, a little album that had pictures of him. Like, it's kind of sad. I think that she really had her heart broken and was in love with this man and, like, carried it with her entire life. And, like, I would love to, like, track him down and find out what the fuck happens.
Maybe he listens.
I bet he does.
How did she meet him?
She was a flight attendant.
Oh.
Or she, not a flight attendant, but she worked for Delta in reservations or something. So I think that's how they met. I don't know. But I've always like, it's so crazy to me that that's where they went. And I can't help but feel like it had some weird, it was weirdly connected to that. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we went, had a lovely vacation. When he told us, he's like, we should take a family trip. It had been, she was the glue. Mm-hmm. She died, and we all, like, got lost, basically. So this was going to be our, like, reuniting thing. And we were like, a cruise, Hawaii. And he was like, well, go follow the footsteps that we laid out 27 years earlier.
Oh.
So weird.
So
it was
you
really weird.
You really recreated it.
Yeah.
He did. Wow.
The sex again was amazing.
It's good that you guys can get along in that way, especially in
Yeah.
a time that some might think was sad.
Yeah.
But it's good to connect. Wow. Okay, so you were 19 and you were in college at that point. Mm-hmm. And where was your sister?
She had graduated from college and she moved to Manhattan Beach and was working in like entertainment PR. She also had met her now husband in senior year of college, so they were like newly in love. They had moved out to Southern California together. So she kind of was like in that world. And we dealt with my mom's death very differently. So like we were not very close at that point in time. And I kind of went back to school and like started trying to get into drugs because I was like trying to find something, and luckily that didn't take. And my dad was just working so hard because he had like taken off of work while my mom was sick. So he was like flying. He was in like 3 different continents in 1 week. It was crazy.
What did your dad do?
He was a construction engineer. This company, Parsons in Pasadena, he was like vice president of this company.
Were they living out here, or was this?
Yeah, they were
okay.
now. When I graduated from high school, they moved to Pasadena.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys handled it differently. Was your sister not present?
Not really. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then, my dad had a heart attack on the first anniversary of their wedding date after my mom had died.
Wow. Had he had heart trouble before?
No, but like he was really unhealthy. I think he was drinking a lot. He was traveling so much. Like he wasn't taking care of himself, and he was so sad. Mm-hmm. Like in Germany, I noticed I was kind of worried about his physical health, and he was actually really into tennis, and he was playing tennis when he died. But to me, it's just like I could never have imagined him getting remarried, or like he was the epitome of just like depressed and lost. I mean, I hate to say it because it was horrible, but in a weird way, it was almost a relief. Like I was so worried about him. I would go home every weekend if he was there, and like I felt like I was the parent, sort of, and but he was the parent, and there was nothing I could do about it. I was really worried about his drinking, and
did he drink a lot when you were growing up?
I would say he had a problem, but it was like managed. Mm-hmm. But I do know, like, my mom would always play that card when they were arguing or something. And like he drank every night, but he was a functioning I guess, alcoholic, if that's what he was.
Right. Did he think he had a problem?
I think he probably must have known on some level. Like, he was a really hard worker, and he came from nothing and really built himself into, like, a very successful provider, and I put a lot of pressure on himself, and he sweat the small stuff. Like, that book, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, was on his bedside table all my life.
So how did you find out that he had a heart attack?
So it actually was like 3 days before my sister's birthday, and we were going to meet up at the house in Pasadena for her birthday. So I drove from school in Santa Barbara, which is like 2.5 hours, and I got home, and then I was like, I took my dog out for a walk, and I showered because I got there a few hours early, and Dad wasn't there, but I didn't really think anything of it. We were all supposed to meet up in the afternoon. The phone kept ringing, and I just ignored it. And then finally I picked it up, and I guess they had been calling me, like my roommate in Santa Barbara, my sister, the hospital, everyone had been calling. And I was in the shower, and I got out of the shower, and the phone had been ringing the entire time I was in the shower. So I ran to my parents' room and closed the door. I was literally naked, wet. Mm-hmm. And I answered the phone, and my sister said, like, "Where have you been? I've been trying to get a hold of you." And I said, I drove home, and she was like, "Dad had a heart attack." And I said, "Well, where is he?" Thinking like, oh my God, I have to get dressed and go to the hospital. And she said, he's dead.
Oh my God.
And I, like, you know, let out whatever primal scream you do when that happens. And like, it was pretty devastating. I mean, that both times when my mom and my dad, I just like collapsed, and it took a couple of weeks for me to like even wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
Which I will say, my sister was amazing. Like, she and my brother-in-law handled all of the shit that happens when someone dies.
So was it, the heart attack was fatal? Like, he didn't even get to the hospital?
Yeah, and he was playing tennis with the doctor. So it was immediate. And he had stopped playing. She later called us and talked to us, and she said this was the first time they played. They had never met before. It was like a singles, like, set, not romantic, but just tennis setup. And she said, like, I wanted to let you know. Oh my God, I'm going to get emotional. Is this a comedy podcast?
Not currently.
No. She was like, I want to let you know that, like, right before he died, they sat down to take a break because he was really, like, winded. And he told her, like, about my mom, and he told her that he was, like, really proud of us and how we were doing, and, you know, told her all about me and my sister. And he just stood up and fell down, and he was gone.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, thank you.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
So what was that like then, losing them both in such a short amount of time? My mom lost her parents in like this. They died. They both had cancer, and they died a few weeks apart.
Oh God.
But she was 31, and she already had 2 little kids, which it took me a long time to realize. Wait, that, like, now to me that is young. Like,
Right.
Oh my God.
Right.
I don't. But I mean, at 19, that's obviously much younger.
Yeah, it was hard. I mean, it was I think that 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 are like hard years for anyone.
Yes.
You know, I think I just got through it. I graduated from college a year early, so I think I like threw myself into just school and like studying, and I don't really know. I don't know how I did it, but I did. You know, it's one of those things. I think I could do it again. I certainly hope I never have to do anything, but yeah, it sucked. I had to grow up very quickly, and I also was extremely alone, you know, which I look at kids who are like in the foster care system or orphaned, or I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, when I was 19, I still, like, I could function. I was an adult.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that aspect of it, I think, it was just, like, missing them, and I loved my parents very much. So that was hard. But, yeah, the other aspect of growing up really quickly was weird. Also, I had a ton of money suddenly, which I no longer have.
If only you joined Soho House
I
then.
know! What was I? I would have gotten the junior rate.
Did you spend it carelessly or just because of life you don't
In
have
some ways I did, and then in some ways I really didn't. Both of those. But it was weird being 19 and having, like, making financial decisions that sometimes were really poor.
Right.
Or, I don't know. Yeah, it was interesting.
So how does that affect you and Andy, the fact that you have been through, I don't want to quantify it, but I'm going to, let's say, you know, different rites of passage.
He's really great. Like, he's really understanding about that. He humors me. I mean, I have my, like, multiple days every year. My dad's birthday, the day they died, I'm, you know, bring it up.
Yeah.
Still.
My mom still, you know, they both died in June, and June is a tough month for her still. And
Yeah.
it's like a zillion years. She's a zillion plus 31 years old. It's a long time.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it really changes much. Like, Andy and I relate to each other in so many ways, and he is very sweet and supportive about that stuff. And also, so Andy and I knew each other when we were little kids, and my mom, like, he was my first crush, and my mom, like, had met him, which, I don't know, gives me some sort of comfort,
Yeah.
you know, that, so, yeah, it doesn't really affect, you know, I have to say, like, talking about in this sort of way, it's sad and it kind of, I'm emotional, but I'm really, like, very much at peace with it. I mean, it was my path. I, like, feel, I'm grateful I had them. I feel like it was their time or whatever, and this might sound heartless. I wouldn't, like, change it now. So I'm really at peace with it. Like, I wouldn't want to bring them back or have changed things. I think that's, like, it all worked out the way it was meant to. And, I mean, I miss them, and that's not to say I wouldn't love to spend time with them, but, you know,
Right.
it is what it is.
Sounds like the pain is not sharp.
No.
now.
Yeah.
So wait, you and Andy were friends when you were kids, and then what happened? How did I I feel like maybe I know this story, but I'm forgetting. How did you?
He moved to Idaho
Okay.
when we were, like, 13, and then in 13, yeah, and then 12 years later in New York, we both lived there at the time, and I just passed him on the street, and he recognized me.
Did you recognize him also?
No, he said who he was, and I
okay.
was like, oh my God, because I had a crush on him when we were little, and yeah. So.
And then did you start dating at that point? Mm-hmm. And then you've been together ever since?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's so cute. Okay, so now you guys both, would you say you host it with him or you both host it?
I host it.
Okay, you
He's
host.
my sidekick.
Right, you host the Totally Lame podcast. He's your sidekick.
Wow.
And how would you describe this podcast?
It's fun. We go to weird places too.
When I was on, we talked about periods.
Yeah. Oh, that was fun.
That was fun.
And actually, it was much more well received than, you know, of course, just the topic. I'm
Right.
like, oh God. We talked about it for like 40 minutes.
It's a lot of discussion of first periods and stuff.
But
People liked
love-
it.
people love
even
to,
guys,
like-
I think, liked it.
yeah, people love to, I don't know, dig in a little bit. And that's what we kind of aim to do is we don't really ask about career stuff, or we kind of just hang out, and it's usually fun.
I had a really good time. I
Thank
was like,
you.
My
We had
God,
a lot of fun with you.
Thank you. I walked away and I'm like, they are so good at talking. Now I know what it must be like for people to talk to me. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, but it really was. It didn't feel like an interview, like being peppered with questions like an interview or anything. It just
Yeah.
felt like a conversation.
Yeah.
And I thought that is admirable. because I'm interrogating you right now.
No, I feel like I'm just yapping.
Well, that's the point of this as well. We're both in the yapping business.
We are.
But you're also a comedy writer.
Yes.
Like, what are some other things that you're working towards or that you would want to do?
I'd love to. I really hope to get staffed this year on a sitcom. I've been working towards that for 2 years.
And so that means what? Does that mean doing a spec script?
Yeah, I have like a spec script. I have an original. I'm going through all the paces. So hopefully, I have a great team, and hopefully I'll kind of.
It's important to have a team behind you, one who understands your brand.
That's right.
That's what they say.
I think, but also it's not as cut and dry as I think I originally thought it was. That like I get submitted and I blah blah blah. I think it's about knowing people and
yeah.
So I just kind of hope all the stars align this year. But other than that, I also write poems. So I have a poem of the day Instagram and Tumblr, which I love. I'd love to eventually get that out on like one of those desk calendar, daily desk calendar
so cool.
things because they're
like
little.
People don't read, appreciate, or talk about poetry very much anymore. I was an English major, and I loved poetry, and I should say love, except I find that I don't read it that much, and except sometimes I reread the stuff that I had read back then.
Right.
But that's really cool.
Yeah, you might, if you're like into poetry, you might poo-poo my poems because they're very short. They're almost like tweets, but there is a difference. Like I can tell if what I'm thinking is a poem or a tweet, and the way I visually structure it is important. So they're fucking poems because I say so. But yeah, the Tumblr is Elizabeth Writes Poems.tumblr.com, I think. And I'd love to have a show someday.
That you mean that you're hosting?
Yeah.
A talk show?
Yeah.
That's
I
my
would love
dream
to
too.
do that. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, I actually talk about that on this show sometimes. Just the fact that I had this Here we go again.
Let's do
this
it.
story again, I had this general meeting with a guy where we were just, he's with a production company and we're just getting to know each other and blah, blah, blah. And I hate general meetings in general because I find them to be weirdly, like, I don't know.
General.
Yeah, like, nothing's going to come out of this and I don't exactly know what I'm here for, but.
I'm the same way.
I don't know anyone who likes them, actually. Maybe there are people who do, though, and then great
I know
things
one
happen.
person, and he has a very successful career.
Really?
Yeah.
Why does he like them?
I think because for him, he's a great guy who he was like almost hated in auditions. You either loved him or hated him because he would go into auditions and do whatever the fuck he wanted. And now he's very successful. But generals, he would go in and do whatever the fuck he wanted. Like, he just likes to be on
Tweak
stage.
people okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I had that lighthearted joie de vivre regarding all this, as opposed to this, like, oh, God, what are they going to ask me? What do they want to know?
Yeah.
What's the right answer?
I'm with you.
I'm exaggerating, but that's what's happening emotionally. Well, actually, that plus the what's happening inside when I'm in the meeting is like, oh, he totally thinks you're funny. He totally likes you. This is going great, And so then he's like, well, so what is it that you want to do? And and that's something that I should probably have a better answer for. But I just started explaining my dream of my talk show and explaining what it would be like, blah, blah, blah. But it wasn't a pitch meeting. It was I just didn't know how to dance out of that question well. So I was just telling him everything and being like pretty honest and open with my pitch, which I feel like is so good. And, but it is. But so anyway, and then he just, explained that they don't give talk shows to people who aren't household names, and just like slowly chipped away at all my dreams. That's how it felt to me. And I walked out of there like an inch tall, just being like, oh, there's no point. What is the point of anything? And even just as the word that I can't think of, even though I was validated, I still had to pay. It didn't bother me that much, but I'm just saying that that's how much things weren't. I couldn't catch a break.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will say it's interesting. Andy and I have been developing Andy is a producer, as you mentioned, this artist who is like taking off. So we're taking all of these meetings with labels and managers and blah, blah, blah. And like, it's going really great. But there are always people who, whatever it is, even if like 8 out of 10 people are saying it's so great,
Yeah.
they just like to have that angle and chip away at it. Like
Yes.
and they can be very successful and important because they can like, they're always looking for, well, what's going to fail here?
Yeah.
But it's like so not conducive to creative people. So
Right.
Andy and I, Meg is the artist, and she's a true artist, and she is like sensitive, and anyone telling her how to be or what to do is only going to fuck shit up. So we're so protective. Like, no one can say anything negative around her. And I understand that might make someone into like a monster, like certain celebrities. If everyone's always saying yes around you, that's what
Right.
it is. But creatively, that's the environment she needs. Like, and I've seen it happen. I've seen people do what you just said, like chip away at it. And it's like, those are not creative people.
No, not at all. This is someone who's not interested in thinking, to use a cliche that I don't love, thinking outside the box at all. He's just like, this is what the networks want right now, so this is what I'm going to find. But the thing that was killing me is that I can mention a handful, a very small handful, of unknown podcasters with their own talk shows right now.
Yes.
But I look at that, and as jealous as I am, I also am happy for them, and I'm
Yeah.
aware that the more they have success, the more people are going to realize that maybe they should give you and me our own talk
Yes.
shows. But fuck those people who
I
are
agree.
mean.
Yeah, it sucks. And
It was also a wake-up call, though, because this guy didn't even know what a podcast was, which is kind
Oh,
of unthinkable
come on.
that he's in this town. He didn't know what a podcast was. So it's like, to someone who doesn't know what a podcast is, the credentials I'm walking in there with are like, they're oldish and not as impressive, and
it's so I had this old manager, and my friend and I pitched her a show that was like podcast involved, but it was a scripted, show. And her whole argument, she was one of those people, and we were such a bad fit. She meant well, and she is successful, and she works for other people, but her whole thing, like spec script wise, would be like, well, instead of just letting me write what I wanted to write, she would be like, well, no, you need to have a script that because the networks want this, so write this, and this. And by the time I would get it to a place, well, she would take my voice out of it.
Right. Oh.
Then it would be like, there are already 5 shows with this. So I'm sending something out that people are like, we've seen this. What's new? Like, if I had just written what I wanted to, and that's like months of work.
Yeah.
Then this podcast pitch was the final straw. I had been feeling like we weren't a good fit. My friend and I went to pitch her. We'd already pitched to my friend's agents and like her people, and they loved it. And I knew I didn't want to pitch to her, but we finally did. And she was like, no one's going to care about a show about a podcast. No one knows what podcasts are. And I'm like, my whole thing is a podcast. Are you saying this to me
Yeah.
and you're my representation? Like,
Right.
are you kidding me? And that's when literally she left, and my friend looked at me and grabbed my shoulders and was like, you have got to get out. So I did.
Was that hard, the getting out conversation?
Oh my, well, when she said that, I'm leaving out this part of it, I started hysterically crying because I had known for so long that this manager was not a good fit creatively with me. And I kind of, in order to admit that, I had to admit that the past year, everything I had written and worked so hard on was like not really me. And I had been feeling that way. And when she finally said that, it like gave me permission. But as a comedy writer who has been through a year, like rounds of meetings and generals and stuff to get staffed, then to have no representation, like cutting it off, is really fucking scary. And this was right before staffing season last year. And I still did it. And it was a very, very good decision. And I thought...
Was she cool about it?
What I did was I emailed her and I said, like, you're great. I know you're great for some people, but we're not the right fit. First and foremost, you don't know the podcast world, and that's become really important to me. and, you know, I wish you the best and blah, blah, blah. And her response was pretty standard, and like she was classy about it until the very end. She threw in a curveball that was like, oh, one of the things she said was like, you just don't understand what it takes to make it in this business. And I'm like, give me a fuck.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for 10 years. I have a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
I've given over 75,000 blowjobs. I have a pretty good idea. Okay? Secondly, she was like, oh, and the timing of this is interesting because I'm about to sign a deal that's going to take my business to the moon or whatever. I'm like, oh, give me a break. But whatever, it was fine.
She's probably not even on the moon yet, right?
Yeah, no problem.
business didn't go there?
I think she's like halfway there.
Right.
But like a month later, I signed with this incredible management company. You know, everything works out.
Mm-hmm.
But for that moment, you're in the deep darkness, and you're like, I'm
Right.
never doing anything, you know.
Yeah.
But you just have to trust your gut, I guess.
Oh, sorry. I think you scratched your neck, Gary, and I thought you were giving me the decapitate yourself sign.
No, I just had an itch.
Gary and
Not
Allison
okay.
you guys are cute.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. But feel free. Scratch your neck if that's what needs to happen. Why are you doing that to me? Well, I think we should do some Just Me or Everyone. This is a segment with a song.
Oh,
Sometimes I ponder on something I have thought or done.
I love your
It's
songs.
just me or everyone.
And thanks to Tom Rapp, aka Trap Dog, who makes the songs. So this is where people send in things they do or think that make them wonder, is it just me or is it everyone? And here's some of them. They're up there. Will Global says, when I eat a bowl of cereal, I refill the bowl until the milk is gone. Oh, wait. I thought he meant he keeps adding milk to it. He means he keeps adding cereal to
Cereal.
it. Well, that is actually why I don't keep cereal in my house, because I'll keep evening it out till I'm super fat.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
I have cereal is like something that I have issues with. I would have issues with, although it hasn't been a part of my life for a long time.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Really cut
Had
it.
to
You
say- I
gave
had
it
to
the
get-
heave-ho.
I did.
Send it packing.
I said, you don't understand my world, cereal, and this creative relationship is over.
Well, I'm really cautious about the milk cereal ratio, and I know what I'm getting into. And
That's
I
good.
finish the last bite. I make sure it's the last bite of cereal and milk. My husband, though, will pour so much milk that there's a full bowl of milk left over after
Then what
eats.
does he do, though?
Then
Does
he just
throw it
leaves
out?
it in the fucking sink, and he doesn't even pour it down the drain or clean the bowl or put it in the
Ew.
dishwasher.
Ah. How
That's
does that?
right.
And then, wow, does that bother you?
Yeah. No, not at all.
No, you don't seem bothered. So wait, you say you're very cautious and careful with your ratio. Mm-hmm. Do you mean you measure out the milk, or do you mean that you, as you're eating, you're careful to make sure they're both happening at the same time?
Both.
I don't even think I could even do that if I wanted to.
You could if you put your mind to it.
When you are pouring the milk into the cereal, assuming that you do it the normal way as opposed to people who pour the cereal into their milk,
Oh,
that's weird. It's totally weird.
craziness.
Yeah, I know. When you are pouring the milk into the cereal, though, does it look like there's not very much milk in there?
It does.
That's how you do it.
That's
how
how I
you
do it.
preserve the ratio.
Yeah.
Gary, cereal weirdness?
The only time I've eaten cereal since I was way younger, I eat it in a cup, and then I just drink the milk if there's leftover milk.
Smart. All right.
Wise.
Keenandian or Keen and I don't know how to say your name. I smile at the camera as soon as it's pointing at me, even though the user adjusts things for the next 30 seconds. Yes, I do that too, but then I get that sort of like, I got a smile that's starched onto my face feeling.
Yeah, I do the same thing. In fact, my mom used to like kind of laugh. Like she would,
To stay
while
fresh,
we're posing,
yeah.
she'd be like,
That's good. That's makes it seem so natural.
yeah,
and
so
fresh, but also weird.
Yeah, it's a little weird. It used to bug the shit out of me, but now I kind of think I do it. I'll like laugh or like Then you get to laugh about posing, but it's not that funny. I don't know.
Okay. MD Bomber says, is it just me or everyone nervous to shake hands after washing my hands because people will think it is pee? Yes.
It's
Yes.
everyone.
I am always apologizing for any condensation on my hand.
It's everyone, right, Gary? Yeah. And we all have that moment where we shake someone's hand who's just gone to the bathroom and we want to be like, don't worry, I know it's not pee.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Do you ever actually say that, though?
No, I don't.
You just think it, yeah.
I do pee on my hands a lot, though.
Right. So sometimes it is pee. But I heard that you're supposed to keep, if you're at a party, perhaps at the Soho House, you're supposed to hold your drink in your non-shaking hand so you won't be offering a clammy hand.
That is an etiquette rule I did not know.
I don't know how I know it.
Good to know.
I don't think I do it. I don't because I'm always apologizing for my cold Diet Coke hand.
Oh.
Here's a funny story that I've never told anyone. It might not be that funny. But anyway, my hands get really cold. I'm one of those people where I'm always like, warm heart. But I don't have good circulation is essentially what I'm saying. So my hands get like, if it's cold or if I'm cold, they get super, super cold. And my boyfriend, when we first got together, was kind of always, like, oh my God, this is unbelievably
Freezing.
cold. And I, at that point, I was drinking Fresca a lot. So there was one time, true story, he got into bed and he goes, oh my God, did you bring a can of Fresca to bed? I said, no, that's my hand. It makes no sense to me. He thought I had actually gotten into bed with a full can of Fresca and I was holding it in my hand because he had touched what felt to be a cold Fresca hand, but it was my dead hand.
Dead
which is alive,
hand.
yeah.
Dead can hand.
Yeah, it makes me feel sexy just thinking about it. All right, Diabolic Dave. I feel like throwing up when I touch pill bottle cotton or think about it. Parentheses, typing this made me a little sick. Now, either Diabolic Dave has sent that one in or we have received a pill bottle cotton JMO before because I'm familiar with this. I don't have that, but it's not just you unless it is just you and you've sent it in twice. Do you know people who feel very uncomfortable with that?
Yeah, no, I don't have that, but I have that feeling about chalk or chalky things.
Yes.
I think that's yeah.
There
I
are
don't think
certain-
it's just you, and I don't think it's everyone.
Right. There are certain textures that if I touch them, like certain jeans or corduroy, if it's something that's it makes me feel icky just thinking about it.
Yeah.
I have a mouse pad. I actually have a mouse on my computer that's attached with a cord. It's very retro.
Wow.
Yeah. But the mouse pad, I don't know what the material is, but when I think about rubbing my hands on it, I'm like, ugh, makes me feel icky.
Ugh.
It's too porous or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I had a friend who hated eggs because when she looked at an omelet or something and it was all porous, it made her feel nauseous just looking at it. And I totally get that.
Yeah, I get that too. Dick skin? No thanks.
You can't look at it?
Or touch it.
It must be weird for Andy, but I'm sure he gets it.
We work things out.
T.W. Levinson, just me or everyone can't sleep with socks on. Just you, I sleep fine with socks on unless it's really hot.
I can't.
Can't? Mm-mm. Gary?
No, definitely not.
Is
No
this
socks.
everyone?
I don't know.
How did you sleep when you were a baby and you were in footy pajamas?
Well,
I told my parents I did not.
You don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
Mystery.
Let's see. The liquor talks. While sleeping, I fear the parts of me that aren't covered by a blanket are potentially in danger. Yes, and the parts that are under socks are extra safe. Unless it's so hot that the only way I can sleep is to kick off all the covers, in which case I won't sleep well. I like to be bundled up.
I can throw stuff out there. I'm not worried about danger.
Could you dangle something off the end of the bed?
No, more. I couldn't dangle, but I could.
That sounds uncomfortable anyway.
I could lay other. I'll throw a leg out, one in, one out.
Yeah.
Temperature control. Mm-hmm. I'm not a pussy. I don't think that there's gonna be a ghost come eat my leg. Well, now I will.
Yeah. Gary?
No. I mean, I can relate to this. I agree with what Elizabeth said. In general, I agree with what you said. In general, I like to be covered, but if I can't be, then I will be completely uncovered with fans just blowing on me from 3 feet away, and I won't sleep.
Yes,
Oh,
it's an
that's the
uncomfortable
worst.
night.
But I'm not like worried about things being attacked if they're uncovered.
Dangling.
Yeah. Well, in my case, my legs are always dangling off the edge of my bed.
Right. Poor 11-inch Gary. Do you ever look at beds or think about beds and think, it's so weird that we sleep in, that we've created these things. I feel like I'm going to lose everyone right now, but it's weird that we've created these things that have these covers that everyone sleeps in. It's just weird. Like, I look at dog beds and I think, yeah, the dog enjoys sleeping on that, and we sleep in these things.
I wish we had dog beds. Like,
How would-
enormous dog beds.
Yeah, that would be cool, actually.
But I think it's weird that we, like, don't... When we were buying a mattresses are expensive for good reason. You spend half of your life on them. But you don't think about that. Like, you spend half of your life there.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not
You're
half.
sleeping a lot. I know what you're saying, though. A lot of time.
I
a lot more
spend
time than
65% of my life there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so my boyfriend and I are...
Isn't that
I know.
interesting?
You don't say. No, I have something to say about beds. Daniel and I are moving in together, and he and I have different preferences in beds.
Ooh.
He likes the top bunk, and I like the bottom bunk. Although, did you ever have a trundle bed as a kid?
Oh, yeah.
Do they still make those?
I feel like a bunch of kids got folded up in the trundle. Got smushed.
Trundle tragedies. Well, so his bed is really soft, and mine has a pillow top, but it is
Yeah, it
a
does.
little... I think mine's soft too, but it's a little more firm. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I've done a lot of research. I believe he has. And it's not really better for your back to be on a firmer mattress. It's whatever feels best to you. But I don't like his bed because I'm like, I feel like it's just this big smushy thing. So we're moving in together, and there's been this question in the air: whose bed are we going to be sleeping in? And it turns out it's going to be mine.
Yay!
Yeah, yay for me. But I feel a little bad. I feel a little bad that he just like decided, that's cool. It's just yours. And I think, But
Well, what are you going to have to give up for that? What price are you paying?
my independence.
That's right.
I don't really know. I guess I'll find out.
He'll come to like it. A smushy bed is no good.
Yeah.
He'll realize.
Exactly. All right. Is it me or everyone, says James L. Wilson, when people say you have really improved, I feel hurt because I don't want to know that I sucked before. Yes. I totally get that.
Oh, I feel that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like, you look...
Have you lost weight? That one.
Yeah.
The weird thing is that when I was younger, it depends. I go back and forth about whether I want to hear that or not.
I think if you worked really
yes.
hard for it, then you're like, yeah.
Yes. Whereas if you're walking around thinking you look good, and then you haven't done anything, and then someone says that or something, no, I feel like actually that one's always pleasant.
The only thing is, it would be, have you lost weight? You look so much better.
Yeah.
Or like,
You know when you don't want to hear it is if you're on a date with someone who doesn't know you well.
yeah. Because then
it's
he's
like,
going,
I didn't realize that your natural way of
State.
being is fat. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Otherwise, I'm okay with that. But you've really improved. It just depends. If it's something where you were aware that there was room for improvement, then it's nice. But if it's something that you thought you're like, no, I've always been good,
yeah.
then it just hurts.
Yeah, like Andy weighs me every morning. And when he says you've really improved, I feel joy.
Yeah.
So I guess James L. Wilson is alone on that.
I hate. It's a very it's a loving Twitter handle. Is it just me or everyone? When I look in my rearview mirror, I'm positive that I know what side the driver behind me is on. I'm never right. Okay, I like this one because I don't understand it, and I want to know. Do you guys?
No. The driver is on the driver's side.
Right. Maybe this person is always. Perhaps I hate is surprised that they're on the driver's side and he thinks they're going to be on the other side. The passenger
Mirror
side?
trickery.
Right. It could be. I have a lot of trouble doing things in a mirror, and then I always think I could never be a weather person. Because, they have to
Indeed.
point. I'm always pointing the wrong way and when I'm looking at the back of my head or trying to touch something in a mirror
Yeah.
or something. But
Again, I
that's-
think you could be anything you want to be, but maybe that's a challenge to overcome.
They'd be saying you really improved with that one. Also,
right.
something weird. I say mirror when I mean window and window when I mean mirror.
Whoa.
Oftentimes. I know that's a just me thing. Although I'm sure there's someone else out there who has that too, but it's just like a weird sort of brain misfiring.
Yeah.
I'm pretty aware of it though, so like I pause. You know, I haven't done it accidentally in a long time because I'm so conscious of it.
Oh, that's
It's
so
weird.
interesting.
Do you have any weird brain misfirings?
Not that I can think of that's like that. I mean, that one's really interesting because they are so different but so similar.
Well, to me, they're both reflective.
That's
I
see
think
the
where my head
similarities.
is,
Sure.
yeah, thinking they're the same. I mean, I guess they are really different though. But that's what I should focus on to find my way out of this weird misfiring.
Yeah.
Another weird. Gary, do you have any weird misfirings in your brain?
No, not that I can think of.
Okay, you fucking normal.
And I
people.
don't get that rear view mirror one, but I'm always somehow delighted when I look behind me and there's an ambulance that says ambulance. You know, like when they've put it on backwards on the thing.
Oh,
so that-
yeah.
I don't know why that always makes me happy.
Seeing an ambulance always makes me
Right.
happy. Just to know.
Well, I am. That's how bad I am with mirrors. Is that if I saw it correctly in the mirror, I wouldn't even realize that I did.
Whoa.
Would you? Would you realize that means that they wrote it reversed so that you?
No,
see it
I
correctly?
wouldn't think of it.
All right, fine. It's just me.
It's just you.
Hey, did we skip one on purpose?
We did it on purpose. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's
Didn't
okay.
mean to call you out.
It's because I did that one on a different show.
Oh,
Do you
I
want to
see.
do that one though? Does
No.
it speak to you? Okay. All right. Well, I have to tell you guys something funny, which is someone tweeted me and said, "Why is it that I get your songs like this is the way I get your songs stuck in my head?" Alison Rosen. So you know my theme song is Alison Rosen. Alison Rosen is I am tone deaf, but new best friend.
Yeah.
And he gets it stuck in his head. Allison Rosen, Scooby Dooby Doo, do that dance again,
Oh, that's funny.
which delights me to no end. But I have gotten Here I Go Again on my own, like a Twizzler. I was born to walk alone. For some reason, because we were playing that song, but Twizzler's not the actual lyric.
Like a twister?
I think it's Drifter.
Drifter.
Yeah. On the Adam Carolla show, we were playing that song, all the different versions of that song, which is torture because it's been fucking stuck in my head ever since, but with the word Twizzler. And it cracks me up every time, and I don't know what it means.
Oh, that's
It's
funny.
weird.
Yeah, that is weird. It's weird. I'm sure that we've all had these moments where, like, a song you really loved when you were a teenager or something, you realize that the words you were sure they were.
Yes, are not at all what you think. Although I never had feelings about that song and never thought it was Twizzler. There's a series of books called Excuse Me While I Kiss This Guy. Mm-hmm. And it's just a whole bunch of lyrics that have been misheard. Like
that's funny.
the Golden Girls theme song. Do you like Golden
Favorite.
Girls?
My spec script is a Golden Girls spec script.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, the theme song, and if I threw a party and invited everyone, or if you threw a party and invited everyone, you would
Yeah.
see the biggest gift would be for me, and the card attached would say. I always thought it was, and the heart attack would say. And it didn't make sense really, except that they're old.
Sure.
You know, then I realized I was hearing it wrong.
That would be a different tone to the show.
It really would.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen every episode? Are you like that? Do you have a favorite episode?
I have my favorite moment.
Which is?
The girls are going on a cruise. And they go to, like, CVS to buy prophylactics. And they say, oh, maybe we should. We're doing this cruise and blah, blah, blah. And my favorite line of all is Rose doesn't know what they're going to buy. And she's like, what are we getting? What are we getting? And finally, Dorothy goes, condoms, Rose. Condoms, condoms, condoms. That's my favorite. That whole scene is fucking amazing, though. It's so good.
I think I've seen that. Did you watch Empty Nest?
Yes.
The spin-off of Golden Girls.
Indeed.
I feel like not enough people watched that.
It was good.
It's pretty good.
Dreyfus.
Yeah. That's right. Gary is so young that he didn't even know who Christy McNichol was.
Oh, Gary. How old are you?
27.
It's not even that young, but it is.
27 is a good bridge age to, you can still like drink with all your friends, and you're not like, oh, so and so has a drinking problem.
Right.
It's not, there's that moment where like, I think around 30 you start to go, some of my friends have drinking problems, and then, but it's also like you're an adult, but you can still be a kid. It's great age.
Cherish it.
Yeah.
Are
I'm digging
you?
it. Yeah.
I feel like he is like
Ever
Soho
since I left
House,
college,
first class,
I've realized it's all downhill
Club
from there.
33.
Club 33.
Yeah, leaving college was a big, awful wake-up call for me. That's when I realized, wow, the real world is you're not special, and it doesn't, and it's just mundane, and it sucks, and no one really cares about you or your special whateverness.
Yeah.
And I wasn't prepared for it. That's how I felt.
It is such a harsh,
a
and also
letdown.
like having everything plotted out. Although there's some people who they're like, well, I'm out of college and I'm going to get my CPA and blah, blah, blah.
Yes, there's certain people who were recruited into financial type consulting jobs in college, and then they just they had a week off or less than that, and then they went straight into
To their real
sad
lives.
life. Yes,
Yeah.
I wasn't like that.
Yeah, none of us were. Look at
Right.
us.
I know.
Look at this crew.
We're like Twizzlers. We were born to walk
alone.
Well, Elizabeth, this has been so much fun.
This has been so
we
much
didn't
fun.
even talk about the fact that you're probably going to, or you are going to be launching a new podcast. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if it will be just launching, maybe after this airs. So everyone should go to totallylamepodcast.com or find us on Facebook and find out some more info. I'll leave it at that. I guess.
Okay. And on Twitter, we can follow you at.
Totally Lame.
Okay,
And
any-
it's LAIME.
Oh yes, that's good to say that because people wouldn't have known.
No.
Anything else you want to plug or mention?
No, I think that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening, everyone. You can follow me on Twitter at AlisonRosen.com. You can follow the show's Twitter feed at ARIYNBF. You can follow Gary at GPatrickSmith. You can email us at ARIYNBF@AdamCarolla.com. And I just realized, wait, is Gary still in there? I just realized there was something that I wanted to do that I totally forgot, which is I need to tell a certain person.
Hey, go fuck yourself.
Yes. Lost my train of thought. Okay, so this guy left a comment on my website, which has made me do a lot of thinking, and I don't want to do that. Yeah, So I just had Andrew WK on my show, and or when people hear this episode, it will have been like Andrew WK was on a couple episodes ago, but that just aired, and he's like, I can't believe you didn't get that the whole, the entire interview was a parody. This is like Noam Chomsky promoting his interview with Sacha Baron Cohen, whatever character he was at that point or something. And it made me think, oh my God, was I getting fucked, punked
Right.
by Andrew WK the entire time? I really don't think so. But then I got all these tweets from people saying, like right after that, for a second I was like, so I was really thinking about it. I'm like, And then I got all these tweets from people saying like it was the funniest episode ever. They loved it, blah, blah. And then I'm like, ultimately, it doesn't really matter because it spoke to people.
Yeah.
But I don't, I mean, what he's suggesting is something that I don't think exists, which is the idea that Andrew WK gets off the mic and was like, completely pulled the wool over her eyes by presenting this faux personality. I think that what happens is when you develop a persona, like it becomes a part of you. And I think that and he talked about that on the show, like a lot of who he is a persona, but it is also what he believes and what he wants to be and stuff like that.
Well, if he talked about that on the show, then that debunks this guy's theory totally.
Yes, except that he didn't talk about it in a really, really straightforward way. I was kind of trying to get at that. And he was saying that he started thinking like, what would the guy who he would want to be around, who would cheer him up because he was depressed, what would that guy say? What would that guy do? So in that way, that's sort of a tipping of the cap to like this. It didn't start out exactly who I am.
Right.
It's a bit calculated, but I don't think it's like I'm trying to think of an example of someone who's a complete fabrication of a human being.
Like,
like JT Lee. Wait, no, is that a real person or is that not the real person? There was a whole person in New York, an author who was also a bunch of photos were taken of this guy who actually was a woman playing this character.
Oh,
I bet this is not that.
no.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. It doesn't matter. Like, people love to feel smart, and when they make comments like about what you're doing, it's so that they can feel smart about stuff, and it informs them that they could do whatever you're doing better.
Yeah.
So it's a cowardly way of feeling like you're creative without being it.
By just being a dick.
Yeah. So when people make dickish comments, it's them being insecure about them not doing shit. So you don't need to worry about that.
Thank you.
And people did enjoy the episode. If some people said it was one of the best episodes ever, like, own that and roll with that.
Thank you very much.
And they'll change their mind after they hear this episode.
That's right. But still, to that guy, for making me think and wonder, I say...
Hey, go fuck yourself.
Right. Gary, what do you think? Had that occurred to you? That the whole thing was some gigantic practical joke that is he lives as his life or something?
I saw that comment and laughed for 90 seconds and then never thought about it again.
Okay.
Oh, to be a man. A 27-year-old
The
charming
world
man.
stretching out before you.
I don't know. We spent like 4.5 hours with him that day between Adam's show and this one.
Right. He never took his hair off.
At no point did I see a glimpse of, okay, now we're turning it on. Like that just wasn't the case. He was who he was.
Right.
Oh, yeah, if you hung out with him...
The thing is, he was saying that he gets a charge from porta potties. I feel like that is the thing where I was like, really? Do you really, or are you just being the embodiment of the party lifestyle? But he would say to you, what I am, what I stand for is the embodiment of the party lifestyle. So it's like, it becomes kind of a moot point. It does
become, and you're right, it inhabits a part of you, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And you know what? I agree with Elizabeth. It doesn't matter. And I'll say this. If it was a bit, he was in it for like 4.5 hours, and he was dedicated as fuck to it, and it was perfect.
Yes, that's the thing.
So who
if
cares?
it's a bit, then it has become who he is all the time.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think, he's a living bit if he is that, which is actually kind of what my questions about how did it all happen. I was trying to drive at that, but I wouldn't have put it in such reductive terms. I was just trying to figure out, did this start as a send-up at all? Or,
Right.
what? I don't even think I called it a send-up. I was like, were you making sort of like a statement?
Right.
But anyway, fuck that guy, and not fuck all of you guys and the listeners whom I love. So anyway, you guys, if you're going to buy something on Amazon, which you are because they have everything, why not click through the banner on my website, AlisonRosen.com, and then it doesn't cost you anything, but it helps out the show. That'd be awesome. And leave us some iTunes comments and click 5 stars if you think the show deserves it, or if you don't. That's what I say. I give
like
them
that.
the option.
Don't do 4 stars. Don't do 4 stars because you think, oh, but this isn't your all-time favorite pod. Leave the 5 stars. If you like it, it's free entertainment. For God's sakes, don't
right.
leave 4 stars.
Yeah, but hey, 4 stars is better than fewer. But how about 5?
No. You
No,
get 5 stars.
5.
5, goddammit, 5!
Andy wouldn't on podcasts because we have a podcast, but he's a type that he's very principled, and so he would feel like, to be fair, 4. And we have fans who are very supportive and who have left 4 stars. Most people leave 5, thank God. Leave 5.
Yeah, what they don't realize is that by leaving 4, you're fucking the person's star rating and
Soul.
ranking and soul. You're
You know what?
fucking their soul.
You know what I'd say? I'd be perfectly fine with you leaving 5 stars and then explaining in your comment that it was only deserving of 4.
Yeah.
Feel
Yeah.
free.
But you know what? If you leave 4 stars...
Hey, go fuck yourself.
Gary and I need to work on our...
Gary has to run 3 miles.
Yeah. What's the word?
Coordination?
Telepathy. No, this has come up lately on both shows where he's been trying to communicate with me through just like hoping that he can beam the thoughts to my brain and also motioning. And I'm looking at him like, and then It hasn't gone as well as we'd hope. I know. Yeah, it didn't work. Do that again, and I'll explain what you're trying to say. He's grabbing his ear. Yeah. Do you have any idea?
Cans 2 times talking. What?
No.
It was tell
That's a
them.
good guess.
Yeah.
Okay, what I did was I grabbed my headphones, then I put up 2 fingers, and then I made mouth motions with my hand.
Yeah, and what that was supposed to indicate was tell them if they want to know the answer to this question, they should tune into the podcast.
Oh my God.
Right?
Well, yeah, but my logic was listen to find out. Listening to find out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous now that I say it out loud. I understand I was wrong.
It's funny, though.
Yeah,
But
that is funny.
It was a good
in the heat of
try.
I need to get this information to her in 3 seconds in the middle of a live podcast.
Charades
it
seemed to
seemed
be the
smart.
best.
I get
yeah, it was good. It was a good try. Yeah. He just did it again for anyone who's listening and not knowing
Very
what's going
animated.
on. I know. All right. Well, gosh, this was really, really fun.
Yes, thank you
so
so
much. And thank you, listeners. And I love you guys. And I will talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, do you know about the Alison Rosen show? We had a good time, but now we gotta go. Thank you for choosing the Alison Rosen show. Alison Rosen is your new best friend. That's right. That's right. Those good times don't seem to end. That's right. That's right. Alison Rosen is your new best friend. Hey, do you know about the Alison Rosen show? We had a good time, but now it's time to go. Hope to see you next time for the Alison Rosen show. Yeah! Yeah, Alison Rosen is your new best friend.
This is Corolla Digital.